Hi, I'm Laura Bartow from Studio One Stampers. Can you believe it's already week 7 of our Sale-a-Bration promotion? This is coming to an end on February 29th. But oh my goodness, guess what? Stampin' Up! Added even more products for us to get free with a $50 order or a $100 order. Oh my goodness, this is just amazing. So I put together a cute set of projects for you to see and learn how to do using some of these products. Well, let me tell you what they are. First of all, there's this gorgeous stamp set called Botanical Layers. Layers. And it is just a fantastic stamp set. I've used it for both the card and this cute little gift bag. And then look at this great designer paper. This is called Delightfully Eclectic. It's in our annual catalog, as is the stamp set. But wait, one of my absolute favorite things are markers. Look at this set of markers. Now this set of markers is what we call our new colors. So it's all the new colors that were introduced to our catalog last May. And so you can get a collection of just those markers to add to any of your other markers that you already have. So it's still Sale-a-Bration, but look at all the great products that Stampin' Up! Has added from our annual catalog. So let me show you how to make these cute projects and show you a wonderful technique to color your stamps right with your markers. Well, let me show you.
Well, I just wanted you to get a little bit of a close-up look to what this Delightfully Eclectic Designer Series paper looks like. I have had so much fun with all these great patterns. These are fantastic for scrapbooking as well as for card making. Just so much fun. Anyway, I wanted you to just see that and to know that I'm going to use this piece here to do the box. So I'm going to use that piece, and then I'm using this piece for our card. So anyway, there we go. So you can see what we're doing here. I've got, so let's work on our card first. What I'm super excited about showing you is these great techniques for doing this coloring. Now, can you see closely that these leaves have multiple colors on them? And that has been done with our markers. There's a two-tone color going on here, and actually 3 colors of markers have been put on this one stamp in order to give it that gorgeous, gorgeous look. I love plants and I love all the colors and things that they can be in, and so I just knew that I had to try this technique with this particular stamp set. So let's go ahead and get this piece done first, and then you'll be able to see how to use these great markers. So these markers are, of course, the new colors that were just introduced this year. So it's all of them. There's 11 in here, and we're going to be using 5 of them today to color on our stamps. So the first thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and get our white piece of cardstock ready here, and I'm going to color right on this stamp. Now, I don't know if you've done this technique before, but it's really, really fun. I'm starting here with Fresh Freesia, and I'm going to color the tips of every leaf. And I don't have to worry about doing it real carefully because I'm just going to go over the other portion of it with a darker color that's really going to cover that over. So I'm just making sure that I'm getting all the tips. And I usually have to go over the tips a second time just to make sure that I didn't miss something. This is a very light color, and so it's hard to actually see sometimes exactly where it is. Now you're going to be able to see as I start putting this darker color on what I'm talking about as far as getting this color coming up. So now I'm coming up from the bottom of each leaf and coming up in what I'm hoping is sort of a natural progression. In other words, in nature, things come together in unusual patterns. They're not straight. They don't always follow a rhyme or reason. Each leaf is actually different. So you can see that the leaves are different in their coloration. They're different in how the colors go on there. They're different in their shape as well, but all of those things. And so I'm just going to kind of come in and do my artistic thing, which is really, really fun to just kind of color. And now you can see I've got these colors really well defined on here. So then I can add a little more moisture by huffing a little bit if I want to. And I'm just going to put this down right here on my white piece. And look at that. I almost feel like that's magic. Now I can also go in and add some color with the marker afterwards, or I could have actually added this right onto the stamp itself. But I'm just choosing today to add just a little bit of color to define these leaves. And I feel like when I'm doing it this way, I feel like I'm being a little more artistic. Anyway, you can do it either way, either on the stamp or whatever. Now, I've made this mask, and I've used it a couple of times. It's a Post-it note, and it just lays right over top of my piece. So what I did is I stamped on the sticky part of the Post-it note as best that I could, and then I'm just laying it on there. So that just goes that way. Now I'm going to take this other stamp and I'm going to use two colors on here. I'm using Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock. And so I'm going mostly on here with the Lost Lagoon. So I'm going to just really add a bunch of areas here that are here with the Lost Lagoon. And add that on here. And here we go. So I've got the Lost Lagoon in a bunch of those areas. I'm trying to make sure that I remember the tips. I really want the definition on those tips to be my light color. And then I'm coming in with our Pretty Peacock. And my goal here is to just basically fill in all of these areas that I didn't fill in before without going completely over top of those colors, but that's okay. And then I want to make sure that I get a really strong image down here at the bottom. And you can see that when I'm using my marker, I'm trying to use the side of it. That's what I'm trying to do here, trying to use the side. I'm going around the edges of my my leaves just to define them and make sure that I haven't lost anything, since the stamp doesn't have a lot of detail there. So anyway, so here we go with that. And I think that'll do it. So now I have my mask in place, which means that this leaf will look like it's behind the other one. So I'm just going to stamp that down and bring that up. And when I remove my mask, you can see that that leaf went behind the other one. And so I've got the two-tone there and three colors here using my markers. Well, putting this card together is really quite simple. And I want to show you what I'm doing here. So I'm going to quick glue these pieces of Designer Series paper on, and I'm just going to do all my gluing at one time because I think I can do it really fast. It's so hard on these beautiful designer papers to not use the back piece, but I'm going to just try really hard to close my eyes and use the other side because there are so many great patterns in this paper. I think it's just a fantastic collection. And it's so fun how they mix and match together. That's been just a great love of mine, is to play with all these patterns. And did I tell you that you get 4 sheets of each color? Oh my goodness, it's so exciting because it's really a lot that you can really play with, especially if you're going to do something. Now, I'm going to use the Misty Moonlight ink pad just because it's a little bit faster than coloring with the marker. I could color right with the marker, and that was the marker that we used, but it's just so quick to just pop that on there. And then I'm going to grab my double oval punch and just punch out this great little greeting. It says, "Thank you for everything." Whoops, I just want it to be straight. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. All right, so that goes on there. I'm going to quick put my gold trim down there, and then this piece just pops right over there, so you can see that. Put that right on with a couple of dimensionals, and here we are with our finished card. Well, let's go ahead and talk about this bag. I just absolutely love this little gift bag. It's so fun to do and so easy to do. But I want to do the stamping first because I want to show you how fantastic it is to do this multicolor stamping right on this little piece. So let me bring my pieces in for that. I'm actually just going to bring in the white piece. And I'm going to just set it right there so we can just go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and use this leaf pattern again, and I'm going to be using Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock. And so for this one, I'm going to do what I did before, and I'm coloring just the tips of all these leaves. And that's with the lighter color, which is Lost Lagoon. And so I'm just kind of trying to get in here So I'm just doing the tips of each of these. And I think that looks pretty good. There we go. And so now I'm going to come in with the pretty peacock and I'm going to finish my pattern. So I've got a leaf in the center and I'm just going to kind of take my marker up so it maybe goes over top of that a little bit of an artistic look where it's just kind of coming from the stem and moving forward towards each of those leaves. And I can have a few darker leaves as well, and I can also do a little edging on some of these kind of at the bottom if I want. And I think that looks good. I see I missed a little tiny bit of Lost Lagoon right here. Come back in and do that. There we go. All right, so that gets stamped right on here like that. And look at those two colors. Can you see how we've got those two colors going beautifully? I've got the dark in the center and then the deep. I just love how that looks three-dimensional. Well, I'm going to quickly do that again. I probably should have already done this once for you, but I love doing this. This is so much fun to do. I love this technique. I love what markers can do. You can do this with any Stampin' Write markers. I do want to caution you, though, that they do need to be the Stampin' Write markers. We have an entire other set of markers that are called our blends. And those markers are alcohol-based markers. And with alcohol-based markers, that will not work on your rubber stamps. You can do this also onto our photopolymer stamps with those Stampin' Write. But these are water-based markers. These are basically the same as our water-based inks, or similar. Not exactly, but similar. And so they work the same way so that you can do watercolor techniques with them. So we'll put that on there like that. So look at that beautiful look. We've got this light and dark. It really looks like a natural scene. Now I have this other stamp that looks like a little flower, and I'm going to color that in Fresh Freesia. Just color that all over in Fresh Freesia. And then I'm going to add little specks of Berry Burst, and especially in the center, and then stamp it down. And I'm going to do that a bunch of times. Now, I probably would recommend that you want to wash your stamp in between. Wash your stamp in between. But there's such a small amount of the Berry Burst on here that I'm just not going to worry about it. So I'm just going to keep going back and forth just a couple more times to do that. One there. These are just little flowers. They're kind of in the background. They're just, it reminds me of sort of a Queen Anne's lace pattern. I've always loved Queen Anne's lace. And the last one's going to go right there. So there we go. That's our beautiful piece that we're putting onto our bag. Now I want to show you how to make this bag really quickly. You wouldn't believe how easy it is to do. I've got the dimensions here for you. So there's the bag. There's the dimensions. And it's a piece of designer series paper. And the only thing that I would caution you about with a piece of designer series paper is that the bag is going to go this way. It's going to fold up and down. So when you're planning your pattern, you just want to make sure that you know that your pattern is going to go in the portrait place. Now this has already been scored, and with those dimensions, so I'm going to go ahead and just pull this back here and make sure that these score lines are really well folded. Okay, so this is my top edge that I'm doing now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold down. Just want to make sure I got my score line. On dark paper, it's a little harder to see your score lines, but fortunately I can see them okay. And so I have this side folded down, and I'm just going to cut up here and cut there, and do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to fold this up. This is 2 inches, so it's 2 inches from each edge. And it makes a cute, cute size bag for just all sorts of cute things. You can put a gift card in there, a small gift, just all sorts of fun things. This would be an adorable party favor to do, to have all of these little bags sitting out around a table, just all decorated with fun little candies or something else. So here we are. This is basically the entire box that's ready to go. And all that you need to do, you could use tear and tape for this if you want, or you could use the glue like I'm doing. Now it is important to get up here and do this edge right up here on each of these sides. So especially especially the side that is on the outside. But anyway, so then we'll fold this up. And I know you've seen me do boxes before. Let me turn this so you can see what I'm doing. So folding that up so that holds, and folding this up so this holds. And we've got these down. So there's my box so far. And then I need to put glue all on this edge and all on that edge. Whoops, and that edge. And then I need to stick some up here too, just up in this area. Maybe I should have done that first, but that's okay. I can still do it. All right, and then all of this is going to fold up this way. So we'll fold it up there and hold it there and then fold it up here. And look at how cute this little box is. So that's all there is to it. And our beautiful piece that we just got ready with our markers is going to go right on the front. You could put this on dimensionals if you want to. I'm all about quick and fast, so I love my glue. So that goes on there. And then I have a couple of handles, and I'll show you how to put those on. These are 9.5 inches long, and I put a score line at 3/4 of an inch down here at the bottom. And the reason that I did that is so that I would know where my tape would go. It could be a pencil line, but I'm just going to put this in behind, and I'm going about 1/2 of an inch over. Whoops, I just knocked that. Okay. Guess it's not quite dry, but that's okay. And then bring this around so it's also 1/2 inch on the other side, like that. And then the same thing on here. I've got my tear and tape all ready to go on this side. And we'll put that over here about 1/2 inch. And this score line is super helpful because it shows me exactly how far down to put my handle. And there we are. That's a cute little gift box. We'll add a little tissue because we just always want things to be fancy. A little tissue there. And how fun is that? We've got these cute little boxes and an adorable card. And I know you're going to absolutely love this marker technique. Well, have fun, and I hope that Sale-a-Bration is a wonderful time for you where you really enjoy all these great products and all these fantastic deals. Oh my goodness. Well, happy stamping.